Hello everyone, it's FNaF back again with another video. Sorry if my throat sounds a little clogged. I have been consuming a lot of chocolate. But today, it was a little different. Not playing anything, not reacting to anything. Today I thought it would be better just to, do something a little different. And today I'm doing a tier list of as much Five Nights at Freddy's things that I can recall. Now I will clarify that there are some spoilers to even the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie and even some of the books, so do be warned. That is a heads up for now. But anyways, obviously I want to start this in somewhat of an order. So let's start with the main character of all of this, Frederick Fazbear. Now Freddy, well actually before I even do that, since I haven't actually addressed it, here are the areas. Terrifying, disturbing, scary, spooky, creepy, unsettling, and mediocre, and cute. Now, the original Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Freddy, I'm basing him on my personal experience with him in the first game and how I felt. Now, I'm not gonna lie, he was frustrating, but I wouldn't necessarily say that that made him any less scary. When I was playing against him, it was a whole sense that he was such an aggressive person, and like seeing him pop up in these rooms and barely being able to see him on the camera, especially when I saw him at that door, would actually scare me. Now, the jump scare itself was not terrifying, and the model is not, terrifying either. But I can still say in the least that Freddy was enough to be a genuine, constant fear to me in a way. So I'll put him in the scary section. So I guess we're gonna do Foxy, because I'm not seeing Bonnie. In fact, this might not even be in order of the games in there way out because of that. Now, I'm gonna be honest. For Foxy, he was never really scary to me in any sense, especially with his jump scare in the first game. It's just a little peep in. Now, unexpected, I can give him that. He is an interesting character, being the fastest character in the first game, which could catch you off guard and might give you to jump a little, but it's not really a fear, more so a unexpected moment. So, ironically, I'm gonna just have to put Foxy in because while he's not a cute animatronic, he's not necessarily all that either. I want to point out this next one as well. Phantom Puppet was not really a jump scare or like catching you off guard, because when you go to the camera you see a regular puppet, and even then you don't get a jump scare, you just get like you're being stared at. You're just being stared at, and you're not really getting a jump scare of any sort. Like, the design isn't really scary. I mean, I get some people may see the eyes as, but in my personal opinion, I'd have to put the Phantom Puppet in But ironically, that does not go for the same as Nightmare-ion. Now, Nightmare-ion basically just replacing Nightmare or Nightmare Fredbear. I can't remember which. I'm assuming it's a Nightmare. But the thing is, with that character, even then, the jump scare isn't really terrifying. Neither is the character model. But at the same time, it does give a sense of like, ugh. Even the sound of the jump scare isn't all that, but I would actually have to put this one in unsettling. But that kind of changes with the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 puppet, and I'm gonna base this one based off of the game and the movie. Now, the game version, automatically, I can say, it was the first animatronic to genuinely get me as a jump scare, because I didn't expect it. It was unexpected. Now, it's not terrifying in any way, but at the same time, it's not just like, oh, it's cute. For me, this animatronic was always interesting in design choice, but the way that it moves, the way it has hallucinations on the camera, and also you can see it emerging from the box, had always gotten me in a sense. So for me personally, I would have to say that the actual puppet from the game would probably rank around a creepy sense. But then if I'm going by the actual movie as well, the movie one, I actually have to say, while it didn't really scare me, it did catch me off guard, which I can say, especially with like the spoiler alert, possession. I can say that that gave like a more of a spooky kind of feel. Not really because like, you know, the design, but more so because the concept of what it is and what it can do. Now, Toy Bonnie. I don't really feel any like genuine or even relative fear about Toy Bonnie, if I'm being 100% honest with y'all. But the reason why he's on this list is because obviously he's still a character in the franchise. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Toy Bonnie to me has always just been a cute character, even with the eyes dilating and stuff like that. Even if you go by the image I'm using here with the blacked out eyes, the animatronic is still just a cute blue bunny. And I'm sorry for the people who have like something to say against that. Even with the movie, it's just, it seems too actually cute to be even a consideration. Now, Innard is an entirely different story from what I just listed. While he doesn't really scare me and never really had like any moment where it's like, oh, he's terrifying, I can say that his design choice is unsettling, but at the same time, I can't really put him in a thing where it's like, oh, it's like the concept of him, yeah, it's pretty like fucked up and, you know, would probably disturb some people. But for me, it's more so like after a long while, it's like, it's not that bad. He's just a character made of, and basically an amalgamation of different internal parts of other animatronics into one. And so, with that being said, and with how I see him, I can in the least put him in unsettling. I debated it in between it and X. Now, JJ, there's not much to go also off of. When you first see her, it's like, oh, it's just, she's like under the desk. It might catch you off guard, but it doesn't really give you any unsettling vibes. Even with the ambience, it's more just since it's just an Easter egg, it's just more so and I wouldn't say cute either, just because the sole fact that JJ isn't really cute to me, and I mean that in a literal sense. It's not really, it's just a balloon boy, and it's kind of see that it's hard to see this cute. Now, this one should be obvious. Helpy is, it's obviously not really scary, and even at times it's more so mediocre. This one is between mediocre and cute, but I have to dive more towards cute from VR and all other sorts of things, even because even just being a mediocre character, his overall thing is just a cute and wholesome vibe. Now, this is going to surprise some people, but for Candy Cadet, my specific ranking is so in-depth because, all honesty, it's nothing about his design. It's all about his character. Candy Cadet would be put as a mediocre character for most people in any other sense, on a normal sense, but for me, it's the fact that Candy Cadet stories were always just like, wow. Like, I couldn't believe the things that I genuinely heard that this man just said. It's like, you're hearing his voice and things just get dark, and it's like, oh, that's, wow. And so, obviously, I would have to put him in unsettling for the sole fact that he's more so just that kind of vibe. Even in Security Breach, he gives off that vibe, and it's just so consistent that I would have to put him there. Now, this one's a huge change of pace, obviously. Like, there's obviously going to be a pattern here that most people are going to know. Ned Bear, despite having a dialogue option of, like, that whole, like, serious moment, it's the only real seriousness he's got, and his design is just goofier nonetheless. And ironically, with him being a mediocre melody, it does not help the fact that he's going in mediocre. Now, Withered Chica. Now, with the story that we know, again, movie spoiler, with it being a prototype and everything, and even with the design alone, the voice, everything about it, I have to say, in the least, would get this up to creepy. And I want to further explain that those teeth, the way its mouth looks, the way it looks on the cameras, and even when its soulless eyes are staring at you in that office, it's just gives off such a vibe that's just ugh. But next up, Funtime Freddy. Now, I mean this with all respect, because don't get me wrong, a lot of the location characters are going to be much different than this. But Funtime Freddy specifically, even despite his encapsulation unit to capture kids and stuff like that, I would have to actually put Funtime Freddy most likely in mediocre as well, because he's still such a goofy character, especially with the whole concept of Bonbon and how Bonbon is used. And I kind of do feel bad about that, because the fact that I do love Funtime Freddy as a character, I do love the voice, I do love like how creepy it can be, but in the overall sense, I don't really see it as a genuine scare. Even when I was playing in Sis Location, he was more so, like, even with VR, which was the only time I actually did feel like some type of fear because it felt like he was right there, Funtime Freddy would more likely to me be just a mediocre, because I can't get past how goofy and silly he is. Now, Springtrap. And I'm going to use every version of Springtrap. When I say books, game, collaborations with other games, like all sorts of stuff, I have to say, throughout all of that, his design and everything would put him, especially with his lore, if you understand, because like obviously he's a child murderer, he always comes back, he got a gruesome death, and even there's the secret scenes where you can actually see him trying to take off his mask and stuff, and seeing the actual insides of it, looking at his actual character, seeing the rotten flesh and stuff, but actually seeing the character mixed, like literally infused with metal. It's not scary, but at the same time, with his story, the only thing that I can really give that, and truly give that, is actually surprisingly our first disturbance. Now, Rockstar Chica is similar to actually a lot of Rockstars, but at the same time, it's nothing too crazy, because there's not much to go with her by dialogues or anything like that, by character design. It's like, overall, it just kind of feels like she would have to fit in mediocre. Her jump scare's not that scary, not scary at all. Her animations aren't really worrying, her camera angles aren't bad, her voice lines aren't anything. So I have to sit her in mediocre. Now, Nightmare Foxy is actually a weird case, because I have to personally put this in creepy from my experience, because when I played Five Nights at Freddy's 4, I had saw something in the hallway, and I later found out that Foxy does not start in the closet. He starts off in the hallway, and then he has to get to your room to get in the closet, and that's where it really kicks in. Now, the concept of that is pretty terrifying, and its design is pretty spooky as well. But overall, with all that and the lack of voice lines and stuff like that, I would definitely have to put him in just creepy. Just creepy. Now, this next character is a book character. I cannot remember the exact book it is from, but I remembered reading the story. Again, spoilers for that book. If you've seen that clown on like a cover of a book, in this story is basically someone was trying to beat a game, and like, so he was trying to cheat at the system, and then he tried to sneak into into the place after closing it and tried to tamper with the machine. When he tampered with it to make it work for himself more, then it was the sense that he did successfully do it, but the clown had locked him in. Now, the clown's design is pretty creepy, but overall, it kind of gets shut down on everything by the end of the clown story, where that guy gets crushed under the thing that these kids were jumping on. And so the clown is more traumatized. The clown didn't mean for him to die, and then that kind of completely cancels out. So the clown wasn't really trying to hurt him or anything, was just trying to deal with a threat in the area. So ironically, while the design is creepy and kind of unsettling when you're reading the book, I actually gotta put this guy at eh. Now, the mini arenas is such a confused sense. If we're going by the books, then its story is completely different. But I want to start with the games. The design of it reminds me something of the marionette, and with them being so tiny, especially with that first time we really see them with the spring lock scene, they aren't that bad, but they aren't like, top tier either. So unfortunately, normally for their base version, I would have to just put them on like, but I can actually up them to unsettling, because in the books, the concept of them was constantly going inside of a guy's mouth while he was unconscious, filling him up, making him gain more and more of them inside of him, and then asking him to take them home. And then so he was having dreams about them and stuff like that. But little did he know that they were all inside of him. By the time he found out, there was all of them inside of him. And then I can't remember if he popped or if it just was like an ending cut off there. But that alone was such an unsettling thought, the thing of like a parasite kind of thing, with things crawling inside you and just becoming a part of you without you knowing. Now, ruined Jackie. Going by the fact that it's just the mimic in disguise kind of defeats the whole purpose of it. So I'm going to go with the actual character as well, because the mimic is also on here. The character of Jackie in the ruined state is and I only say that because like they didn't really do anything scary or like worrying. Like even its original version did something more like active and had me more concerned. Its design is more like, without the whole clown features, it's pretty much just nothing really. Even with what it's shown, it's not really doing much. Now Toy Freddy, ironically, just like Toy Bonnie, in fact, not even like Toy Bonnie, because the thing is, while Toy Freddy is a cute character and doesn't really have a scary jump scare or camera angles, or even when he's in the hallway or attacking, he doesn't really have anything scary. I mean, he's just cute. But with the furthering with Ultimate Custom Night, he's not as like cute, but more so of a joke with the whole Mr. Hugs game. And so I can't really put him on like, oh, he's a cute character, so I'm gonna automatically put him on cute, because I don't see his character as a cute kind of thing. I see him more as a mediocre character, because he's just so silly with the later version. Now with the movie version, like, again, even though he sounds wow, he would still be cute because, again, he didn't really show much. But overall, Toy Freddy's gonna have to sit in mediocre. Now, Phantom Foxy, given the jump scare and everything, I'm gonna say with its design is cool, but that's the problem. It's not supposed to be cool. You'd think it'd be scary. So, given everything and lack of voice lines, again, he would have to go in. Now, Circus Baby. This one's a little diving in deeper than the others, because with that 8-bit mini game Circus Baby, and especially considering this doesn't seem fair since Funtime Freddy is where he is, I love clowns, and I always have loved clowns. Like, even when I was a kid, like, I had a picture with Ronald McDonald, and I, like, genuinely love, like, all kinds of clowns. Like, I like goth clowns, I like, Pennywise kind of clown, I like Doink the Clown, the wrestler. Like, I just love clowns. Like, even mimes fit in there because they resemble something of clowns, even though they're not. But Circus Baby is like, while the design is overly cute, there's no real mediocre moments with it, but I still find this one more so of unsettling than anything, by the concept of luring a child in with ice cream just to be chomped. But at the same time, it's not so much to where it's like, oh, every time I think about this, like, I just get a weird feel of it. So while I do feel insane about that, I could only truthfully drop Circus Baby on A. Now, DJ Music Man, I don't even need to say what I like. I would make an entirely new setting just for this man, because like, he's not disturbing, he's not terrifying, he's not scary, not spooky, not creepy, not insane, not mediocre, not even cute. The man's just cool. I love his fucking character, but not so much as a horror character. Like, don't get me wrong, a giant spider would be insane, just terrifying, especially with how he chases you. But at the same time, he's not really anything crazy, so I would have to put him in cute. Now, Fetch. With Fetch's concept, it's more so that I love the dude. I love the dude's character. His design isn't that scary. His design's more than anything. But his actual story puts him on that creepy scale. And before I put him there, I want to explain that his story is basically going from being taken and used like for like small things, asked of small things, and then eventually transmitting to the actual user's consciousness, basically being able to telepathically know what that person's wanting and thinking. And so he then goes to get what he wants, but not in the way that he wants, and ultimately resulting in getting rid of someone he cares for. Now, obviously, that's not too bad, but with the design and with the given story, I would actually have to put Fetch on a creepy scale. Now, for these types of characters, the mimic costumes, I'm going to speed run through them because these ones I can only go by design. Now, this dog didn't really have any real relevance at all for the actual story, but the design, I guess people could see as creepy or unsettling, but this one I would mainly see as Now I think this one's called Bubba. I think this Springlock animatronic was called Bubba, which Springlock is already, terrifying. Now that's a concept that already gets you up like to a decent amount. And so when I first thought him, when I first saw him, I was a little on edge because I didn't know that we were able to get in the animatronic. So this one for me would have to go on unsettling, because if this thing was moving, then I would have been on absolute high alert. Now, Burn Trap, while he has an amazing design and disturbing-ish design, I would have to actually put this one on, even from the story given, only on But if Scott had stuck with his original idea for what Burn Trap was going to do with him constantly watching, that would have had him on unsettling or disturbing, because, one, I know that's a huge difference, like going all the way to disturbing, but the reason why is because the concept of him always watching you from like afar, like throughout your progress in the game, and you seeing him in the distance with his eyes glowing, constantly stalking you, would have been a disturbing thing to see a rotting, fleshy, Springtrap-like being always doing this. But of course, given there's not much, I have to put him on Now, Big Top, in this current state, again, he wasn't really much, so there's not much I can say about him either. He's literally just Now, Withered Golden Freddy also finally found the original Bonnie and Chica, I mean. And okay, so Withered Golden Freddy, now he's not scary. Story-wise, I don't really understand Withered Golden Freddy either, other than, base Golden Freddy. But just from design alone, he's got a nice design, pretty, off-putting when you first see him, and especially when you see that head in the hallway. But you could easily avoid it with just a simple, I believe, just a flick of a camera. So I'm gonna have to put this one specifically on unsettling. Now, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Bonnie, the original Bonnie, I would have to say that his design isn't really bad, but ironically enough, I can actually put him as well on unsettling for two reasons. One, his camera angles, despite his jump scares not really being bad at all, even with Ultimate Custom Night, his camera angles are always just feel like he's in your soul. And as well with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, like little thing where like you got Bonnie on your right and Chico on your left. Bonnie's like soulless stare when he's actually looking at your character gives off that same just genuine fearful tension in your body. And so I actually can put this man on, I guess, yeah, unsettling as well. I want to put him on creepy, but I don't know if that's where it would be. Yeah, no, actually. Let's put FNaF 1 Bonnie on creepy. Now, FNaF 1 Chica. The camera angles don't really do much. If anything, I'm gonna be honest, FNaF 1 Chica is probably the cutest of the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 animatronics. But again, just like, you know, the thing with the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 thing where Chica has her moment, it's the thing about it, it's not that bad either. It's not really like how Bonnie's was. Bonnie's was like genuinely feeling fearful, while Chica's wasn't really giving off that same vibe. So unfortunately, Chica will have to go the same place as Foxy, which people are going to question that, and that's going to be eh. Now, this one's a little different. Jacko Bonnie, and I'm going to use teasers as well for this one. Jacko Bonnie's teaser was confusing and concerning at first. Now, ironically, given he's a highlighter, I can't really give him like that same sense. Like, if we're going by the game of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you know, all the animatronics can be scary, like, you know, just from a visual pudding. But the actual jump scare, the concept of how the character works, and like overall feels doesn't really give anything above once more. And while I do love the character, it's unfortunate he only sits at 10. Now, Scrap Truck. Now, this is a much greater downside than any of the other two I added already, but like, you know, Spring Trap and Burn Trap. Scrap Trap is the least liked design of Afton in the franchise, if I'm not mistaken. And that even goes from my saying. Because while, don't get me wrong, the design could be better, it's more so that his jump scare, angles, everything is vent movements, not anything is really happening, and ironically he's less than what I've been doing, and he's actually more so in mediocre. Now, Eleanor from the To Be Beautiful novel, this one is more so, while the design is not bad, I can actually put this one as well unsettling, because the concept of swapping an entire human's parts with trash parts and then giving them the delusion that they look amazing just from like an illusionary disc type of like necklace, and in reality you just stole all of their limbs, their in like innards and stuff like that, and basically have their life, but you're living it as an animatronic, but you're not living their life exactly. Like that gaslighting feeling and everything. Like, ironically, and I hate that I haven't really gotten enough things to actually put up here, but this one is ironically only on unsettling. Now, this is probably going to be the same for the other one as well, but Shadow Freddy is not much. When you first see him, you're probably like, oh shoot, what was that? And you see, that's probably about as much as you like feel about it. But the thing about it is, like, the design isn't really too bad. Like, don't get me wrong, you can see, like, you know, first seeing that like side eye with the glowing eye, like feeling like it's always looking at you, but it's just like a white eye in like a Golden Freddy similar position. Yeah, it's pretty spooky, but at the same time, it doesn't really give any real feel, even if you use the concept of like the movie. Phantom Freddy. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to put him in mediocre. In fact, I want to clarify at least. He's not scary. He's never surprised me. And I put him in mediocre for the sole fact that his little movement, like, I didn't know he was on one leg at the time, but that movement of like this, and before people say like, but he has two legs, it is shown later with, I think, Ultimate Custom Night, that he has a part of one of his legs, but it doesn't go all the way down. So he's literally just like shuffling, like say if you were to hop on one leg, but like he's like shuffling 1 foot forward to actually move before that jump scare. So I can't put him on much. Now, ironically, this one's just cute. I'm sorry. The way this character moves around, Bonnet, the way she moves and everything is just not much. It's not really anything. Jump scares, not that great. Character design, just the bonbon recolor. It's not really much. I'm sorry, Scott. That one wasn't. No. Balloon Boy, let me put you on mediocre. Because while you're not scary, you're a bitch. I hate so much. Even if I go by FNaF AR where you do have a jump scare, you're still not scary. You're just aggravating. Now, okay. This next one is more of a personal thing for me. The shark animatronic from this Fazbear Fright book, I believe that's Fazbear Fright. Now, I think it goes without saying, sharks are fucking scary. And now you think about having an animatronic one that's able to actually be in water. It's basically moving better than you, and it's much harder to hurt and destroy and does not have the weak spot of a normal shark. The thought of that, I have to actually put that with, like, finally we have another scary. I put this one up here with the original Freddy. Because no, the concept of that is just, I hate that. If I was ever in that situation, no, just no. El Chip, I love you to death, but you are literally a joke character. Your design's not scary, your concept isn't scary, and in fact, the only thing scary about you is possibly just that some people would take you as cultural appropriation. Orville the elephant. Now, this is going to be the same case with a lot of the mediocre melodies, as I said before. Orville, despite having a genuine unsettling dialogue, it's only one dialogue compared to everything else. And so I would have to put him in mediocre as well. But the same does not go for Pigpatch, or I think his name's Pigpatch as well. Because the thing about it is, while he is just a joke character and his design is not scary, it's more scary than the other of those characters. And his dialogues actually do give a weird vibe as well. So ironically, he might be the only one of the mediocre melodies to actually make it too unsettling. Now, Rockstar Foxy. Now, he's a 50-50, and his jump scare's not bad, and his concept's not bad, but his design isn't scary, but he's also not to be treated as a joke either. So I could actually put him in eh, which ironically, that is the biggest piled up one right now. Now, Nightmare Freddy, I'm sorry, but you as standalone do not fit the qualifications for, I'm sorry, he just does not fit the qualifications for that of unsettling, creepier, spooky. Like, don't get me wrong, he's meant to be scary, but that's kind of the point, that he doesn't really fit it. Now, same goes with you, Nurse Dolly. I would put you in eh, but overall, you didn't really worry me too much in this state. You were more giving that cute vibe of a character because you looked like a baby doll, which is in your name. Now, I was worried to get caught about you, but that's just because I didn't want to reset. And overall, I think a lot of people can agree with that. Now, this next one's a different kind of pulliness because my first reaction to the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 movie. Now, I wasn't really scared of this. It did catch me off guard because I wasn't expecting something like this. But this kid jump scare did give an unsettling kind of vibe because just the black tears drooping from the eyes as like he turned around and in the zoom in, it was like it didn't make me jump, but it really did send a shiver down my spine of actually being like having to see that. So I would actually put that in unsettling, like without doubt. I wouldn't put it in creepy because like it wasn't like ugh. Now, Withered Bonnie, I just see as a cool design, but for any child's perspective, if they saw that from, you know, how I did, that used to be one of the animatronics that scared me growing up when playing the games. And frankly, I understand why. Because he's got the glowing eye when he's in the dark, you barely see him, his jump scare is literally a whole manhandle. And of course, I gotta mention how fan games like show him as well with that him on demon timing all the time, especially the Joy of Creation, which I really wish I put fan games in here because that would have definitely made it up top. But I would actually have to give this one much better than I've given most of these so far, because how the character works, like with the flickering lights and everything, the jump scare, the actual design, actually exceeds that of most other characters. So, ironically, I would have to make him the second spooky character. Now, the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie, these little puppet things, I'm not saying that they were scary, but I liked their design and their concept, but they just seemed like cute little guys. Now, Fredbear from Ultimate Custom Night specifically, even trying to go by like the whole concept of a whole, like with that whole Bite of 83 thing. We joke too much about the Bite of 83 for me to actually find it unsettling at this point. Now, the voice was pretty unsettling, but I can't really do anything with that, so it's just that. Funtime Chica. Don't have to say anything from any iteration. Y'all know that's just mediocre. Yindo. Actual design alone, I can say that's a little creepy. A little creepy. That's the best I could probably give it. The Abby possession from the second movie. Now, again, I'm putting this one with unsettling just because, like, that kid from the first one, it felt so unnatural, so unusual compared to anything that I'm normally used to. So, seeing that, especially with, like, the hands, like, weren't like Abby's arms either. It was the puppet's arms, but it was the puppet possessing her body, and it gave such a weird vibe to it. Now, Glitch Trap. I'll be honest. He's cute. He's mediocre. But at the same time, with his character, his story, and how he would leave the person there, he surprisingly makes it to creepy. Phantom Balloon Boy, while not actually having as, scary as you'd think, things in, game, his teaser image and also his camera angles, even when he appears in your office, not the jump scare, everything but his jump scare puts him on an unsettling level. Now, his jump scare, if I were to go by that alone, it would literally be on eh. Now, if I was going by jump scares, a lot of these would not even graze where they did. Now, Happy Frog, I'm sorry, but mediocre. Again. Now, I couldn't find the image of what I wanted here specifically, but I remembered it from my playthrough. When I was playing Security Breach, Possessed Freddy, like in the end where you are against Burn Trap, if you do let him get controlled, his purple eyes, like the way he goes from like sitting like and talking with you, the sitting there complete silent with the darker complexion in his face with the purple eyes glowing just staring at you is such an off-putting feel that I didn't want to even try to leave the area. And then having him rush you, like, even though his design is not scary or anything, it's the vibe and complete aura that he gives off when he's like that. Like, at first, not really knowing what was going on, even then, I could still feel there was something insanely wrong about the character in that moment. So, he goes in unsettling. And now I'm realizing that, oh, never mind, Ant is still the most. Now, M1 in that underground area with all of the suits for the animatronics and the prototypes for the FNaF 1 characters, I have to say, by design alone and speed, if I'm going by jump scare, it's not, too much, but by that character's design and how fast it moves, how like it actually catches me off guard, I can actually put this one on scary. Because while it's not disturbing, it's like if you see that thing approaching you, headphones on, fast paced, you're gonna hit that real freaking quick. Now, Nightmare, not much to go by. If you're going by the straight up character, that's probably pretty scary for a kid. Concept of the game is already scary enough, but I'd have to say that the only reason why he gets this level that I'm about to put him on is because the story of why he is supposed to be there, from my understanding, is that Nightmare, when you get to him, you're not supposed to win. There's no real way to win because it's supposed to be the aftermath of that bite. So basically, when Nightmare shows up, you're pretty much just fucked. Like, you can survive and continue, but no matter what you do, it's the same result. That I'll put you back together line, meaning that it's like he was like a herald of death, basically. He was death itself. You see Nightmare instead of Nightmare Fredbear, it meant death was imminent, that you could not escape, and that time has come. Now, I know there's the theories about it being Michael and not the crying child, but given that when he shows up, I have to put that concept, the thought of that, as disturbing. Now, it's crazy how, like, so everywhere these are, because Nightmare Mangle, cute. Don't judge me. And it's crazy because the next one up, Moon, the daycare attendant Moon side, was ironically something I really, really hated, because I did not like the way he moved. I did not like the way he looked in the dark. Even with VR, it was such a on edge kind of feeling. Because I'm automatically saying, I'll put him on unsettling. Because, in fact, no, I'll put him on creepy. Because the way he moves, the way he flies through the air, it gives off that genuine... In fact, know what? You're going to spooky. You spooky bitch. Because everything about his character, his design, his jump scare, his movement, his voice, it just all goes together. All of it is just right there and spooky. And even then, I wasn't sure because he grew the ranks from what I've remembered and thought about during the process of that. And so he's earned a spot there. I can say that for sure. Now, Nightmare Fredbear. When he is in the closet or on the bed, those are the moments he is most terrifying. But the thing that always gave me a feeling of like dread when it came to that character was the fact that he had a secondary mouth in his stomach with razor sharp teeth. And while Nightmare is high up, he's only as high as he is because of not design, but more so story and character wise. But this one actually has to go to unsettling, which may be weird that it's not creepy, but design is just unsettling, which is going to feel weird and people are going to call me a new Jin fan when I say this. The Jester, I have to go and put him in creepy because he gives off a similar vibe to Glitch Trap. But the thing is that what are they called? That film that you put in really made it worse. Like, you know, that design is already no, but then watching that thing and hearing how the voice is supposed to sound, how the character is supposed to be, it's like when I was, for example, even when I was watching Corey's playthrough Aftermath, I was like, bro, you worry about the wrong thing. I didn't even get that tape, like, because like he was telling me like if he did that, then he would have got him whooped. Bro, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about that nightmarish creature that just popped up on a screen. Now, Destroyed Monty is only an because if I'm being honest, I feel bad for him because the character and how it acts after you get him like that is like he can't really move much. And when he does, it's the only time it's really greatly is in the water. But other than that, he kind of just sucked after that. He wasn't really anything crazy. He was just a crawling gator. He was the equivalent of like just a regular gator at that point, because when the water got electrocuted, so did he, and then he was done. And that's not really something I can put on anything crazy. And same goes for whatever suit this was. I really am unsure, but it was one of the mimic outfits as well. Now, I'm glad I finally got to this. The Molten Nurse Dolly. the way that the like melting actually was on the actual animatronic, and also the pursuing, how the voice just basically stopped entirely overall with time, and even like watching it try to get in, if you failed, actually get through the actual elevator shaft and break in, and even with the mimic leaving its body, everything about the actual character except for its voice makes me confidently put this one on creepy. Now this one, oh my god, no one's gonna understand this unless they've seen the book. So the bunny call animatronic, or whatever it was supposed to be, is a story with the books. And I'm putting this on terrifying because in the story with the books, a guy was like, you know, tired of like his family, like, and how like they basically had been treating him, right? And so in the same story, they'd asked if he wanted to do the bunny call thing. And the bunny call thing is you have like someone in this outfit come to your like room and like wake up everybody with like a scary like notion. Now in this place, it was his wife and children, his young children. I believe one of them was a baby too. I could be mistaken. But after they'd gotten there and actually enjoyed themselves, the guy was regretting his decision and didn't want to do that to his family. And so when the guy came, he like tried to call it off, but it was too late because the bunny call thing was already there. And so this thing was trying to get in from the door, from the window. It climbed up like to a higher part of the building to try to get in like through a high window. Man shut down on like the window and everything, stopped from getting in, which is probably what that thumbnail part was inspired by. But the thing about that is like it's like I say, it's terrifying because not only is that terrifying, like it's like already like, you know, scary to think that, you know, you have to do this to keep your family, like, you know, safe from your own mistakes. But then he found out that the person who was supposed to be in the outfit never showed up. There's no one knows who was in the outfit. And then they apologized to him because they said, we're sorry for the people who signed up for the bunny call program, because our guy was, I can't remember if they said if he was sick today or if he was or if he had called out. And so it made it more like this, like disturbing, like an actual like thought of like, it was like that film thing, like I Heard It Too, because it's like, that means that this creature, whatever it was not human. Something was in the suit and it did bleed, but it wasn't human. And so this man, like, he had realized that he wasn't just protecting his family from, like, you know, a mistake he made, but he was actually protecting his family's life, and he didn't even realize it. He was fighting against whatever this being was to protect his family, and that thing was not what he had signed up for, and that was just yikes. Now, I know this is a huge change of pace, but Toy Chica, I would have to say, Out of the three toys, I can say Toy Chica is a cute character, just like Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie. But when you take off that beak and eyes, then you get more of that actual spooky Toy Chica, especially with the camera angles. The vent is not too bad, but when she's in that office and jump scare, even though most people try to sexualize Toy Chica, in the end, I actually have to say that this one's more so an because it's not bad, but at the same time, it's not cute either. And of course, Mangle, honorary Mangle moment, obviously. You get that creepy aesthetic. The audio of like a police report, that missing eye, the dangling the destroyed figure and everything, the movements, the camera angles, especially the camera angles. And of course, even in the hallway in Vent, Mangle is something that you do not want to see it, because every single time you see that, the only time like it's probably like, you know, not as bad in the hallway is when Mangle's just upside down and for some reason looks like a bunny, which was my first thought of Mangle when I first saw them, because I didn't actually see them on camera or anything. And so I can say that Mangle definitely deserves that creepy status with movie and game wise. Now, this is Lonely Freddy, and I like to explain these ones because I know lots of people don't read the books. Now, I'm putting this one on disturbing with the concept of it, and ironically, there's a song that perfectly describes this, so I can like just use that to sum it up. But I want to explain a little bit into it. Lonely Freddy is an animatronic that was capable of hypnotizing and switching vessels with a user, it becoming them, it becoming the person, and you becoming it, being unable to move, speak, or anything, being trapped and watched as you get replaced by the Lonely Freddy in your body. And the song I'm talking about is obviously Lonely by Daco. I think D. Houston might have been in it too. But it's because the verses go something like, we'll be like best friends, I'll be you and you like me. And then it furthers like the disturbing thought of like having that happen. Like, of course, the design isn't terrifying at all. It's just Freddy with like a little speaker there and weirdly shaped and glowing eyes. But the thing about it is, like, even with the like lyrics explaining it best, is that I'll take you to the green and help you to believe that me and you are friends, you'll see. And then also another line with, like, now that I've got a body and you've got no body. It's like, it's the best way to interpret how I felt when I first ever read that. Because it's like, you're not just being replaced, you're quite literally having your entire soul snatched from you, placed in something that you can never do anything anymore, and then having to watch something live your life and leave you behind in basically an abandoned dump. And then treat the people in your life better than you treated them. That's just more salt on the wound. Next up, count the ways Freddy goes in unsettling. Now, the whole concept of this entire story is that a girl named Millie, I don't even want to get into full details. She was upset. Her life wasn't doing so well. It was pretty crappy. And so she basically had the notion of basically deciding to go inside of this animatronic. Now, I don't know the full story of this, but I can say with the fact that I know that it's more so just the sense that whenever it happens, it's more so that she can't escape, and so she wanted things to be over. She wanted life to be over. And so because of that, Count the Way Freddy wanted to help with that. His goal was to help Millie to die, but basically it was so many ways that it could have happened. And in the end, which was a cliffhanger where we're led to believe that she died, she could have lived, but based on how the books were at this time, I believe she did die. I don't know the full concept of this one because I try to wait for the graphic novels, the actual visual ones, so I can actually see fully and understand it to know exactly what happens instead of it just like leaving on cliffhanger or like being just visualizing via reading. But from this one, it's kind of hard to tell, and I may have misinterpreted some stuff, but I find that one unsettling by the fact that your own mistakes caused you to end up in a situation where you have no other choice but to choose a way to die. And even then, you're trapped there, so you can't try to find a loophole out of it. Now, another Fazbear's fright Now, I just love this one a lot, and I have to say unsettling again. In fact, actually, you know what? I'll put it in spooky because the design of this specific this specific Pit Bonnie is already yikes. Just wow. And then the fan interpretation of like it was only this one, not even the one that was in the actual like graphic novel, but I do prefer this one more because it's more Jesus. But basically taking Oswald's father into the pit and replacing him in the real world, only him knowing, and constantly having to try to evade the bunny, especially like if you're going by the games, evade said bunny, and knowing it's some sort of demonic creature is basically the remnant of Afton's misdoings in that time period, but it was able to cross into the future from the past. Hypothetically, I guess hypothetically is the best way to go with this because I'm not 100% sure how that worked. But Pit Bonnie was spooky just because of design, story, character, and also that demon timing, bro, was on. Especially if you go by the games with that, like, especially with that extra ending where Jeff's just, damn. But overall, Pit Bonnie definitely deserves that place in spooky. Now, the Mimic. Now, if we're going by games alone, obviously I have to put the Mimic on in because it's not too much. If I was going by the actual books, I'd put it on unsettling because, you know, the whole concept of decapitating humans and putting them into piles is pretty unsettling. But the same thing is, well, it's nothing too much on comparison to most of these other ones that I've listed and why I feel that for them. So I kind of just have to put Mimic on because while the character's cool, the concept of them is cool, and like the mimicry is cool, it's just nothing's really crazy or scary about it. Now, pre-Jackie, like the actual Jackie, not the destroyed one. In fact, where'd I put the other one? I already forgot. Because the destroyed Jackie was, let's see, I put it in Yeah, that makes sense. But the other one, you know, it did like get me a little bit, but at the same time, its overall character was just mediocre, seeming like a joke, especially when it attacked that poor little paper guy. And so I can't really say one way or the other that like, oh, this is something like insane, or like this character like genuinely creepy, just because it's like it only creeped me out once. And then for like the actual tiger mimic costume thing, not the tiger rock, the lion thing, I mean, from Ruin, I have to say that one gets creepy, just because it's not unsettling to me, but that design choice of it, and then like with the ending that comes with it as well, is much greater and much more unnerving than anything than the actual original ending and outcome, which I do prefer this one, but at the same time it's still the fact that the character's not really crazy or anything. It's just the same thing as the Mimic, just with a more specific design, which is a lot of these, but you know. Now, I love the puppet themed characters, but Lefty is only an The only reason why it could be put up to unsettling is because if you purchase Lefty and you eventually have to salvage it, then you'll get that note of, I'm already inside your building, and then you're like, which like I like got into like the whole memory right there, like my eyes started to water just thinking about that, because it caught me all the way the hell off guard the first time I'd ever had that happen, and I didn't know how to feel about it. Now, Lolbit, obviously mediocre. There's not much to go with by Lolbit. I mean, heck, Funtime Foxy's got very much the same concept of the other moments of Lolbit, but overall Lolbit's main limelight, like live light, was from that "Please Stand By" thing where you just type in "lol," and that's literally just a joke character at that moment. Glamrock Freddy, cute. Need I say more? Now, M1 from the actual Secret of the Mimic, I want to put this one more so on Unsettling, because it actually not only fits more of the actual book's version of the Mimic, but it also, its design is much more than that of the regular Mimics. It's actually like, its jump scare catches me. Its movement speed is terrifying. Like, bro, when I first saw the thing run, my heart died. Just no. So that look with that speed was terrible. Its jump scare isn't terrifying, but anytime this thing popped up on screen, it caught me. I'm not gonna lie about it. It genuinely caught me. But it was more so like an unsettling thought about the character instead of like, oh, this is creepy. Because it's like, it's unsettling to think about with that character, unsettling to think about with like it having the comics like accuracy and everything. And so, yeah. Nightmare Cupcake's pumpkin form, mediocre. It's a watermelon, if I'm not mistaken. Not even a pumpkin. Nightmare BB, cute. Funtime Foxy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sorry, Funtime Foxy. In fact, you'll go in just because I feel bad. I want to put you in mediocre, but yeah. Now, Ballora, yeah, I'm gonna put you on spooky. Via Five Nights at Freddy's AR, Sister Location wasn't anything spooky to me. But by Five Nights at Freddy's AR, Help 1 and 2, and I don't think Help 1 and 1, but every other iteration of Ballora outside of Sister Location was actually scary to me. And I think she was also an Ultimate Custom Night too. And so that kind of furthers that statement. The look of her character, even with that scooping scene in Sister Location, that actually was a bit unsettling. But everything else about like that character gave an actual fearful moment from me by the way she moves, her jump scares in the other games other than the actual origination of her character. Biddy Babs. Y'all are cute. Sorry. And Molten Freddy, sorry, but you're mediocre. And so is Mr. Hippo. These do not need to be explained. Now, Glamrock Chica, you are only in because of how the game uses you when there's an alert and you just instantly teleport behind wherever the person there is alerted. But at the same time, you're not scary. That was the only thing that got me. So even though I said you're going directly right in cute. Now, unlike your regular version, your what is it called? Your ruined version, yeah, that's going in unsettling. Because there's not a second where I felt comfortable seeing your ruined version. Because I don't need to say anything, it's just obviously there. Ironically, ruined Roxy goes into cute. I don't know why. That's not scary, it's just cute. It looks like a little dog face somehow. The unsettling of this one, obviously, and it's funny because both Golden Freddys are in unsettling. In fact, you know what? The original Golden Freddy would fit more in creepy, because when the first one shows, it's like you get the little hallucinations on your screen. You see the like barely visible pupils of the original Golden Freddy in the room with you, and then full face, full screen jump scare, an original jump scare. That sound shivers. The look shivers. Everything about it. And the thing is, it doesn't move either. The concept of that just straight shivers. Now, I know people say, but that should be an unsettling then. But no, there's something just very wrong with it. He gives off the same vibe as that Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Bonnie-esque situation of everything he does. Ooh. Okay, now this is gonna be a little debatable. Now, I'm not gonna explain the sea bonnies. If you want to know about the sea bonnies, I will say actually look this one up, because the most that I'm going to say with this one is that, in fact, it's crazy. I'm putting this one top tier because I don't like the thought of parasites, but in fact, no, it's going back to disturbing. But I don't like the thought of parasites. But the thing about these guys is that they're not necessarily parasites. They are, but they're not. That's Once again, it's literally they're eating anything living and replacing it with replicants and like basically themselves. It's like mini versions of themselves, mini, not tiny, but like a multiplied versions of themselves, replacing the natural of whatever organic matter to make whatever it is that it ate a replacement supplement of itself. And maybe a little confusing, but hope that makes sense, because I don't think I can actually explain that any better. Now, RWQFSXAC. I think I said that name right, or otherwise known as Shadow Bonnie. Now, you are an unsettling thing, and I think that speaks on itself. The concept of you, when people first see you, even with the movie, they're not sure if they see you, especially if you just disappear. But I know there's also the chance of you crashing people's games from your existence. And so the concept of that, and then like them doing it again and never seeing you like again because you're a rare chance, is definitely unsettling, because you can drive people into insanity in real life with that process and thought. And so that's alone enough to give you that spot in unsettling. And that's probably the only reason why. Now, Nightmare Bonnie, I'm sorry, but just like your other version, your Jacko version, you're not making it past Same with you, Nightmare Chica, for the exact same reasons. And unfortunately, somehow, the unsettling for the Freddles go unsettling, more so because there's no real indication when they're there. You just gotta kind of check on them. And the thought of your favorite toy just casually having replicant versions of itself, but like nightmare murder versions, is much more terrifying. I know people could say like, but hold on, shouldn't that mean Nightmare Foxy should be an unsettling too? And you see, the thing about that is not really. But again, I think I have him higher than that too. He's in creepy for his own reasons. Nothing involving that at all, but he's literally a level higher because of his own like mechanic and how he works. These are more so just the concept of their character, on why, even though they are technically connected to Nightmare Freddy, they alone, even without a jump scare, is definitely not something that I would ever want to think of. Jacko Chica, just like the other Jacko and your other version, Same with you, Nightmare Cupcake. Now people are going to judge me for this, but this is more so because how it has been sent to me ever since. But I find this Music Man unsettling. It's just the design. It is just the design. Also, I believe it's Ultimate Custom Night. I could be mistaken, but it's... I know it has... I think it has voice lines, official voice lines. If not, I'm talking about that fan game I played that once, and if that, then I guess you could take that off. But even then, its design just feels unnerving. It also reminds me of those mini Music Men, which are not any better. I'm sorry for this plus chat, but you're You are more intimidating and scary than Nightmare BB, but even then you're not enough to say like you give any unsettling fear. Now, this one is more of a blink and you miss it kind of character, similar to Shadow Freddy and the others, but Phantom Golden Freddy is a real character, and I only ever knew this from a Markiplier video, and then eventually found out that it was actually a thing, where sometimes during an hallucination he'll pop up on the side. And so it's just because there's not much to it. I mean, of course I could put it on unsettling because, you know, same reason as Shadow Bonnie, but difference is this doesn't crash your game. Gumdrop Angel. Oh, God. This is... a little debating here. I'm gonna put this one in disturbing as well for it being the concept of eating something and then it turns you into it, and then like you think you're safe, but like you're out in the open now and then you get eaten by people. Like you genuinely thought that you were finna be safe, you thought you were finally free, like, but then you fully turned. You can't scream for help, just like that one with the Lonely Freddy, and then you get eaten, and whoever eats the Gumdrop nose, I think it was, becomes the next Gumdrop Angel. And like the next Gumdrop person, and then put up for like display to be eaten by all the kids, and that's just dark. That's like really fucking dark. Now you guys, I'm not gonna lie, Nightmare own staff bots, you're cute. Old Man Consequences, I'll actually put you on A. It's more so the thought of like the character and like his statement is little sentimental, but little terrifying when you really think about like the process of it. Also the fact that he's the only character that if you fuck up with an Ultimate Custom Night, you get a connection to FNaF World, which if you didn't get in that game, then you automatically get an achievement in that game, meaning he's like an EXE, if anything. At least that's how I see it. Obviously, I gotta put that Carl the Cupcake in queue. I did find I had a jump scare, but still. Now, people are gonna judge me on this one, and it's only partially a joke, but it's actually true. This one, the map bot is going in scary. Because even when Security Breach first came out, I saw it. I saw the jump scare. I was like, I don't know how someone can be scared by that. And then I forgot about it. And then I get to it, and then I'm inside of Freddy. I walk outside the room. I was so confused. I had my headphones in. I got ripped out of Freddy, and then instantly jump scared, and then forced to take a map. And I was so confused. I think I might have it on stream where I was like sitting there like, what the fuck? Or something like that, just taking a minute. Sorry for that voice crack. But it was actually scary to me. It actually caught me all the way off guard. And I know that's kind of unfair, but the fact is, even for the Vanessa thing, it caught me twice. I got caught by the take a map thing twice. Which reminds me, I forgot to add Vanessa to this. Now, this one is well, don't get me wrong, the design of it is kick-ass. It is a little spooky, but at the same time, it's nothing too crazy. It's just Freddy missing a head and a little damaged, which nothing new. Now, obviously, the Secret of the Mimic Chica, adorable. I loved seeing that. Jump scares cute, characters cute, everything about the characters just cute. Phantom Chica, I'm sorry, you go into mediocre, and as everyone in the fandom should know why, you look like a watermelon. Okay, this is back-to-back mediocres for a second. Rockstar Bonnie, aka Frank Sinatra Bonnie. You're not, I'm sorry, you're not scary at all. Same with you, Rockstar Freddy, because you're just like the concept of those rock stars all feel like mediocres. But the thing is, at least some of them have like, in fact, I could actually put Rockstar Freddy in unsettling, because like it's just me being generous for this one, just for that when he starts glitching out when you overheat him. And that's only out of generosity. Roxy only gets cute. I'm sorry. There's nothing really scary about her based it. Like, don't get me, she's fast and she's got that leap, but at the same time, it's so easy to maneuver her, and it's kind of hard even with like the later on version stuff, like that version, to be scared of her because of how, like, even if she's dirty or like rusted, she still seems just like a cute character. Now, this one is automatic unsettling. Like, I I love Sun and Moon a lot, but at the same time, I really dislike Eclipse. Where did I put it? I really did dislike Eclipse's whole style that he had going on there. Because the thing about him is, I mean, he's not bad, but his face is so nerve wracking. Like looking at him put fear into my soul and then kind of just like I thought I was probably gonna put him as like cute or mediocre at first. Cause like I looked at him and I was like, no, you're not. You're definitely not going anywhere near those areas. No, you're going directly into unsettling. And you know what's scarier? The bitch has disappeared from my. There he is. He's in unsettling. He's just not at the end. Okay. Yeah, that look of his face right there is just no. I hate that so much. It feels like he's staring into my soul through the recording. Scrap Baby. I can actually say this one is pretty creepy, but only design wise. So I can only really put that one on which ironically a lot of these are going into over anything else, which is it's crazy to say, and I'm sorry again, but yeah. Mushroom, cute. Bonbon, cute. Now, son, I'm sorry, but you're going in mediocre. Now you're a little creepy in your own way, but you're a joke. I'm sorry. Security puppet. Even when I go by that story, the best that I could give you, like the mini game that has with like the Charlotte thing, I can only really give you and because at the same time, it's not too bad because we already heard the story before the another thing. But at the same time, that's not really you either. Electrobab, cute. Moon, by Moon I mean the Moon from Secret of the Mimic. You're gonna get put in unsettling. I really, really hate everything about how you look. Like, I never got that one, but when I saw it, I didn't even watch the fucking video because just no, I'm not dealing with that nonsense. It's actually why I stopped uploading Secret of the Mimic for, even though I said I was gonna upload like the extra stuff that I didn't do because that's not something I want to deal with. Now, creepy or spooky? Yeah, I say Big Top's regular version gets more creepy than its other version. Its ruined version is if I'm not mistaken, and it was solely because it didn't really have anything about it in comparison to the regular version, which the voice, the look, the movement, and even when it was aggressive and chasing and ripping through buildings, now that is creepy. Because like at one point I thought I was safe, because like music stopped and everything. I'm standing perfectly still, and then I get caught off guard because a giant hand just crashes on me and abducts me. I'm like, what? What? Like I didn't see it coming. I wasn't even like just baffled. I was genuinely caught off guard. And then every time I got near this man after the first incident of realizing he could attack me, and of course his jump scare is not too bad, but at the same time the concept of his jump scare is pretty fucked. But even then, the best I could give him is creepy. Of course, the cleaning bots, you just get cute. I'm sorry. The Stitch Wraith, I don't even know if this is an official design, but that if that is, then it's cute because again, I don't really know much about that. Now, this bee, son of a yeah, I'm putting you in unsettling because just your existence gave me trust issues, and I think I only actually got one time where you were actually possessed by the mimic in the game. But even before that, I kept seeing it. I'm like, I don't want to be near that. Like I'm pretty sure I said the words bar for bar that I don't want to be around that bee, even if it is the only animatronic that's not possessed, because it just doesn't feel right and gives me genuine worry and fear in my soul and heart. Withered Freddy. Now, ironically, people are going to question this, but I actually think, if anything, he's cute. And as for the Blob, you are definitely because while you are more of a mediocre character to me because there's nothing really too great about you, but that aggression is one thing, but the fact that it's just pure aggression does not get you unsettling. You're just angry. Just an angry little boy with no real other emotion. Now, of course, Trash in the gang, y'all get mediocre. Y'all are cute, but y'all are more funny than anything. Um, the Silver Eyes Wolf, the Twisted Wolf, I can say is mediocre to me because he really didn't do much. I can check back in the book, but I'm pretty sure that one did not do much at all. I don't really feel anything towards the Foxy, and he kind of was pretty much the same instance. And I'm still upset there's not a Twisted Chica. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that there wasn't. And ironically, people are going to question this, but Twisted Bonnie is adorable. Like, that face isn't anything too crazy. Now, ironically, Twisted Freddy, you're not scary, but your design is by far, out of all of the Twisted ones, the most engaging in actual fear. Like, don't get me wrong. I get that this Foxy, the Twisted Foxy, looks similar to something like, I'd say maybe, I don't even know what a good example is. Like The Last of Us. It gives off Last of Us vibes, yeah. But at the same time, I wouldn't really put you on that. Now, for this little pup right here, I will say, just as the bee guy, he was unsettling, not as much, but in comparison, I can say he did give me a genuine, like, ugh. Especially when I seen, like, oh, so you're also kind, because, like, when I was in a spring, like, animatronic, then I went by and was like, hi. I was like, hi. It was cute, but at the same time, with a face like that, I can't see you as cute. Now, this one, I hate that the only ones that got terrifying thus far are from books, but I'm not even going to explain this. I believe his name is Julius. So just look up. I can't even show the actual image on here because I'm pretty sure YouTube would not allow me to. So just type in Fazbear Frights Julius, or Julius Exoskeleton, or Fazbear Frights Exoskeleton, and you'll see exactly why. Like, design alone, it's why I can't really show it. Vanny, it's more of a cute, even with, like, it's tragic on the story, yes, but it's more so cute. Same with the Caution the Wet Floor sign bot, and I loved those so much. Now, Withered Foxy, obviously, it would be insane for me not to put you exactly where you are deserved to be. Now, you are above creepy. Like, don't get me wrong, I do find Golden Freddy's thing a little more like scary, but of all characters, you definitely deserve that place, because whenever you jump scare, I never expect it. You always get me with that jump scare. The design and all, because, like, especially like when you're playing VR, even though it's a different, like, kind of jump scare for it, Foxy's whole jumping at you thing will never get old. And so it's literally just like always, rah, you're dead. It's done. It's over. And so no matter what Withered Fox you're going for, he's definitely earned that place in Scary, which is kind of weird to say. Now, Monty, normally I would try to give you something more, but you definitely sit perfectly in because you're not unsettling, nothing scary, which is kind of crazy. But overall, it's just, you're not like that. I'm sorry. Now, Tiger Rock, I think, and I'm going to go specify it. I'm specifying this because I actually haven't seen the Tiger Rock book. Tiger Rock would probably reach up to, I want to say spooky, but because of the fact that, no, I'm going to go spooky. Because, while the other souls of, like, kids are possessing, like, things because, like, they were in the animatronic, I was debating disturbing because we don't know if that is David, or if it is, then how he got a hold of such a Golden Freddy-esque situation. But I do know that anytime I saw this, in that dark area with his eyes glowing, especially with the hallucinations if I'm looking at him. It I needed to get out of there. Like, it just I couldn't keep up with that. It was literally a sense of just I don't want to be around you. I don't want to have to see you. I want this to be over as soon as possible. Because every time I see it, it's just like, I don't know why. It feels like it triggers something as a part of me that just doesn't want to be around or see that. Now, ironically, Plush Trap Chaser is pretty scary, and I know people are gonna be like, but isn't it just like the um game version? But not really. This one is it's only reaching it's only reaching scare. It's gonna be the second book in scare because its description in the novel before actually having a graphic version was human eyes with human like teeth and gums, and looking at that you can see the inspiration from it. There was another image that they had as well that I really wish they used instead for it, which is more so what I'm basing it off of. Like, the concept of it is just simple, like plush trap logic. It can't move when light is on it, and when otherwise it just bites through anything to get to its goal. But this one specifically, it's the fact that its actual original official design was so demented as hell that it is an honorary scary. If I can find it, I want myself to put it up there so it can be shown on what I'm talking about. But as for now, that's probably the best that I'm gonna get. Next up, the elephant. Now, I hate to put it on this, but yeah, I wouldn't even say you're scared. Like, don't get me, your eyes are pretty fucked, but you're not really that crazy. And same with Yellow Rabbit. Yellow Rabbit's a great character. Don't get me wrong, the Yellow Rabbit is an amazing character. But to me, you are only in a sense of mediocre. And lastly, Phantom Mangle, I would actually put at creepy. Because of all those because the camera angle, because the jump scare, because not jump scare, because the way it pops up for that temporary amount of time and stuff like that. Like, everything about it is, even though it doesn't jump scare, it does still give off that creepy-ish vibe and makes me really, really, really wish I didn't look at the son of a bitch. And yeah, that's all for now. Now, I know I'm missing a lot of characters. For example, the Grim Foxy type of characters, like from the VR games and so on. But this is as much as I could like remember in the moment, and I had only remembered like more characters like that as I was making this video. So this is my official tier list. The only things that made it into terrifying were two of the Fazbear Frights books. Disturbing, surprisingly, it is barely more Fazbear Fright. Scary is mainly games. Mainly games. Only two of them are Fazbear Frights. Spooky has a majority of Five Nights at Freddy's games and only one Fazbear Fright. Creepy is only one Fazbear Fright as well, with the rest being Five Nights at Freddy's games. Unsettling is a lot of a mixture. Same with But overall, it seems like the winner of most terrifying to me would have to go to Fazbear Frights for its dedication for those two stories specifically. Now, let's see. I have taken over an hour and 30 minutes for this now, so this is going to be hell to edit. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope I edit this correctly too, because in fact, I'm probably not even going to edit this. I'm probably just going to add music to it and make sure I have everything set in a correct sense of way, because a tier list like this, just wow. And I'm really glad I didn't add those other characters that I'm thinking of now, because this probably would have gone on for 2 hours. But that is all for this video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more things like this, do let me know, because I kind of want to see if I would do something more like this now. And if y'all have something that y'all would want to see me do, then let me know down below on what you want to see, or let me know if you felt this video was pointless. Either way, if you watched, you were curious, just like I was when I thought about making this to begin with. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, I will see all of you in the next video.
this puppet proud.